Hello everybody, I am a simple gamer and welcome to... I'm actually not quite sure what to call this. But yeah, this is Fire Emblem Three Houses. I guess this is like the intro to a run. I'm not 100% sure like exactly what it's gonna be like, but I think for now the app description is that it's probably like a proof of concept. Would be a summary of as to what this run is going to be. This is going to be part 0, so this is going to just be like a little bit intro, a lot of yapping, and a little bit of Fortune's Weave too, since yeah, that trailer came out this week, so I do want to talk about that a little bit. But yeah, I guess this stream, well, some people might not see it, but I do hope that this is going to be like the intro to the run that's going to happen. Yeah, I'll explain more about that later. But actually no, I guess I should like explain it now as to what it's supposed to be. Okay, so yeah, Fortune's Weave is going to come out soon, next month. So yeah, I've been looking at the news, and then I've also been like watching a trailer, and then also because Fortune's Weave is coming out, there has been a resurgence, I guess how they say it, of Three Houses stuff. So yeah, most of the runs I see from Three Houses recently, I mean, there are a couple, but most of it is kind of like people just experiencing Three Houses on like the normal or hard difficulties. Because, yeah, Maddening is not that balanced. Yeah, and most people like want to explain, I guess, experience Three Houses, mainly for the story and the characters anyways, and then like the gameplay is okay. Like, when the Maddening like difficulty also came out, I also was pretty harsh on it as well. But then like well, more recently, as I like thought more about it, and then when I like compare it to like the difficulty of other hacks that I played, that are like not mainline, like Fire Emblem, but still like part of like franchise. I've been thinking like, is it really that bad? Like most people, Ironmans are doable. And a lot of the difficulty in Maddening, I guess, scares off a lot of people to also like stream this too. But of course, a large part of it is like also part of like the Monastery, as well, with you know, all the running around doing all that stuff. But then it got to me like thinking, is Maddening actually that bad? I recently like completed a Golden Deer run on Maddening, and then I'm like, this is not as bad as I remember it. So it's like, is a Maddening run without recruiting other people actually doable? Where you only use like the people in your house, and also if you don't do the Monastery too much. I don't think it's worse than Awakening Lunatic Plus. Okay, Awakening Lunatic Plus is kinda crazy. What the... Everyone getting Vantage Plus is kind of crazy. So there is that. What's the difficulty of stat inflation? There's that too, and also there's also of course of the ambush spawns. So I think like a Iron Man where you don't like use like the divine pulses, if you do like Maddening, you do have to like know a lot about the game in order to like do it properly. But I think it is like doable. It's like the thing. Okay, and well, since I guess I am talking about Maddening, I guess I'll show this off first. Because hard mode is a joke. Hard mode is actually a joke, in my opinion, difficulty wise. It really shouldn't be called hard mode. But yeah, the stat inflation and like Maddening is made it so that you can't really like enemy phase properly. So Maddening is kind of like a player phase game, which is actually interesting in its own way. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Maddening is still very unbalanced and kind of unfun. But Honestly, I think like a Iron Man run of just manning difficulty, where you don't like recruit anyone, and then you just like stick with the characters in your house seems like super fun. In order to be able to do it. Probably doable, but you have to grind and you lose strong units, you'll struggle. That's true. So if you're thinking of like what I'm thinking of doing, then it's gonna be like difficult. Oh, and yeah, try engage manning. I think engage manning isn't that bad. At the very least, I think it's a little bit easier than Three Houses manning, for sure. But yeah, this is hard mode. The last map of Silver Snow. No, kind of breezed through it first time. Oh, overleveled. Yeah, hard mode in engage isn't that bad either, with how powerful the engage rings are. But yeah, these are like the hard mode stats of the enemies. They're not that bad. Like the highest like, attack is like 43 and stuff like that. Yeah, this is like my first run where I like beat the game. I can't believe I actually beat hard mode with a Fortress Knight Ferdinand, who's not even like the Heavy Knight mounted version, and I won with Soldier Setif. I guess I was probably like trolling a little bit too much. And then we have this Cyril. I think it's like the worst Cyril ever in the world. Like, how is he level 39 with 22 strength and 29 speed? That is actually kind of crazy. I have no idea what the hell I did with him. And this was like when the game first came out. This Cyril is totally bad. Yeah. But yeah, this goes to show like how easy hard mode is. Where the Immaculate one has like only 82 health and 24 speed. Like, she's like pretty scary in like manning. But in hard mode, it's kind of laughable, if I'm perfectly honest. But yeah, my units aren't like anything like too special, even though I do like Petra with her 45 speed, and then Byleth with like the 38 strength, 32 speed. So yeah. So this is why like there's not gonna be a discussion of a hard mode in a run that I'm gonna do of Three Houses, because I think hard mode is way too easy, and it's not gonna be like that interesting to go through. Okay, but yeah, just want to get that out of the way. People asking me if I'm gonna do hard mode. That's not happening. Okay, but yeah, back to Maddening. As I said at the very beginning, this is gonna be like a proof of concept. I want to try to beat the game. Oh, don't want that to play. Just in case I get like coffee strike. Like too quickly. But yeah. Maddening. If I can beat the game, I guess it's just gonna keep going. My bad. So I should really like hit something there. So that doesn't keep doing that. Okay, back to what I was saying like a third time. I want to try to beat Maddening without doing much. I want to not recruit anyone from other houses. I want to stick with one house. And I want to use no DLC, no grinding, and as little Monastery as possible. And see how hard it is to like beat it. This won't be an Iron Man per se, but I am gonna try to make it so that I use like as few divine pulses as possible, and try to find like the safest way to beat the game as I can, so that it can be like a proof of concept for others who want to do like an Iron Man of like Three Houses Manning, and like the strategies that they may use. Yeah. Because I really haven't like seen many. Well, at the very least, like on the English side of Manning, without like super cheesy strats, or without like the limiter of like. I mean, honestly, if you can like recruit everyone, you honestly get like way too many units in my opinion. So if you just limit it to your own house, and then you focus on like keeping the number alive, it makes it interesting, and it makes it a little bit harder, I think, to just like throw in replacements. So you do gotta like play smart and do what you can. Yeah, what the units that you do have. Curve shot spam fest. I am gonna try to avoid that, Since I mean, you could just like buy bows, and then you can just like use the wyvern squad. But I think one of the rules I'm also gonna implement for me is that I cannot turn my units into classes that they don't have like proficiencies in. For example, I guess I could like go back here. Actually, I guess I'll go to like buy my latest golden deer run to like show off like what I mean by the classes that I can. Whoops, that's not the right one. That's the ending. Oops, my bad. Yeah, this one. So yeah, they cannot turn the classes that you do not have proficiencies in. So no archers for people who don't have like boons in archery, and no flying classes for those who don't have like a flying bloom. So yeah, I am limiting myself pretty severely to prove that you don't have to like play optimally, and hopefully prove that you don't have to like go ham at the Monastery in order to like beat Maddening. Like, one of the, I guess, justifications for people not to do 3 houses in Maddening is that the Monastery takes too long. But honestly, I think Maddening is doable without like going too ham up with the Monastery. You do have to do a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna like take up as much time as people think it will. If you do want to beat it, I think the biggest problem is because of the time sink into restarting, because of how difficulty like the mode is gonna be. But I do think it is like doable and it is fun. Is what I think. But yeah, this is the final map for the golden deer. So yeah, as far as like my classes, trying to like show it off. Okay, I mean, Bottom gets his class, Claude gets his class, Marianne is a Holy Knight. So yeah, for a Holy Knight you need like, well, for me, you need like a boon of, Faith, Horse Riding, and Lances, which she does have, which is why I allow myself to make her into this class. And then we have someone like Hilda, who honestly I made her a dancer in this run because she doesn't have a boon in flying, so I did not ever make her like a wyvern. So it's gonna be like something like that, where classes are gonna be like limited. But yeah, and I am gonna like try to like beat the game like that. No, Monastery mod is kind of decent, altering to quite a few things. There is that too. So the mods, the problem with the mods, in my opinion, for like 3 houses is that they do make things easier. Thinking that it's like a compensation of what you don't get at the Monastery, like being able to like recruit characters and also like increase your weapon ranks a lot faster, which I think kind of takes away from how they say it, how genuine it is. Yeah, something like that. And I guess another example is probably, well, actually, the golden deer, a lot of people can actually like go into master classes, no problem, because they do have like boons for all the different stuff. Like Raphael can become a war master because he does have a boon in fist fighting, well, brawler, and also axes, so it's pretty easy. Lorenz with the dark magic, sorry, the reason, the horse riding, and then the lances as well. And so on and so forth. So yeah, probably not like the best example, but I'm not gonna like go any further than that. But yeah, that's gonna be like a class limitation for me. Oh, Halo got robbed so bad, I'm gonna access War Master without mods. Yeah, but her best class is probably just Wyvern, honestly, where she just like flies around and like bonks stuff with her family's weapon. I forgot the name at the moment, but yeah. Okay. Honestly, if you just... yeah, if you're gonna play 3 houses and want to do a Manning, you could use the mod, but shouldn't you just like skip it altogether and just play it without it? Is what I'm thinking. If you don't like the Monastery so much, why not just skip it? You'll miss out on a lot of stuff by like not exploring, but you still have seminars, you still have auxiliary battles, and you still have resting. Resting still gives like motivation, and I think seminars still give you the support points and the other stuff too. The only thing that you miss out on is kind of the bond points for like the other students that you don't have in your like starting class, but that's not a problem for me, since in like all my runs I never recruit like other people like that I've done, since I do like using like the starring people and then like journeying with them from like beginning to end, which is my preferred way to playing, but I do get it why the mods are there. But yeah, and for those who say that not using the Monastery you're losing out on a lot of stuff, I don't think that should matter too much, since at the end of the day you're still challenging yourself by like not doing auxiliary battles. For those like those purists out there who want to like beat a Maddening like Iron Man, but then use the justification of the Monastery taking too long, but then they don't want to skip it and lose out on stuff. But then you also like play other games as well, and then you don't like use Seth, or you don't use like I don't know, like farm in the Tower of Volney and FE8. You know, like it's like right there, and you just like train. I guess you can like consider that grinding, but then the Monastery can also be considered grinding too. So why not just skip it and then just beat the game on that challenge mode? It's just like another arbitrary limitation that you just like impose on yourself. So the Monastery shouldn't be too different from like the other stuff as well. So my own, well, this might be a little bit harsh, but the ultimate conclusion is that Maddening is too hard without the Monastery. And me, I like my hard challenges, like Allegor Spear, Iron Man. So I just want to prove, hopefully, that it is doable. Yeah, even with like all the limitations stacked on the thing, that is doable, and well, hopefully it'll be like enjoyable to watch. But if it's not, it's not. Then at the very least, I like proved it by trying it. Better than not trying at all, in my opinion. Okay, but yeah, that was probably like one long intro as to what I plan to do, which I'm not going to like be doing today, since I am going to be like explaining about a lot of stuff, hopefully. So that was like the first part done. Next is going to be about Fortune's Weave, and then finally I am going to go with my thoughts and takes about like 3 houses as a whole, to like round things out as to, well, I guess for the intro for my for my run that's gonna be happening. What route am I gonna do? I kind of feel like the hardest one to do is probably Silver Snow, the church route. So I'm probably gonna do this one, because you do lose out on Edelgard and Hubert, who do go with you from like the very beginning. So losing them kind of sucks. And since I can't recruit Setif or Cyril early, or like Shamir or Catherine, they will come a little bit weaker than what they otherwise would be. So I think that's like the hardest one. And if I am able to like complete that one, I should be able to like do all the other ones too. And that should prove that all 4 routes should be doable without the Monastery. But of course, like I said, I am a coward, kind of. So I'm not going to do like an actual Iron Man. I just want to play through it as best as I can with the limitations I impose on myself, and with as few divine pulses as possible. I might restart a couple times to like find a optimal strategy in order to like beat the map, but hopefully that doesn't like happen too often. For one example of that, like I might use like some cheesy strats, but hopefully they won't rely on stat checks too much. Hopefully. And how do I prove that? That's not this one. Not concentration. Oh, the Embarr infiltration right here. Yeah, this is Golden Deer, Maddening. The one where you attack the palace against Hubert while facing a Death Knight. So I might use like some cheesy strats like the one I am gonna show here, but like I said, hopefully they won't like sound too absurd. Hopefully, and should be like relatively doable. Yeah, it's this map where you have to like beat the Death Knight, and you also have to beat Hubert. The problem with this map is that reinforcements do come out from like the top side and from like the right side, and they are ambush spawns. So for me, they were a lot of a pain to deal with. But yeah, I had to like think of a strategy in order to like beat this. And since this is Maddening, their stats are kind of difficult and kind of high. So, but facing these two were definitely much better than like facing the ambush spawns up here, like back here. So yeah, I had a strategy to like deal with it. I don't think I'm gonna like show it now. Maybe I should show it now. Okay, I'll show this at the end depending on like how long the rest of the stream is. But the strategy involved dealing with the Death Knight with the battalion, with the battalion squad I had here between where is it? Ignaz's line stages with the blessing. People stay alive with 1 HP for once, and then Raphael's impregnable wall. Allies receive only deal 1 damage for a turn. And then over here is Lysithea with her warp, where I deal with Hubert with the warp. Something like that. But yeah, I did not like do this map regularly because I did not want to deal with like the 2 ballistas, and then with like the stupid fire orb over here, plus the ambush spawns at the back. So I basically just like warp skipped it. And yeah. This is also why I was thinking of like doing Golden Deer, since there's like the Nemesis fight at the very end. But then I think like Lysithea makes the Golden Deer like so easy. So easy if you don't lose her. Since she also like deals with the Death Knight. When he appears in like the earlier maps as well. So yeah. Well, with the blue lines you basically get Dimitri, who is usually a beast. And then for Crimson Flower you get like Edelgard. So yeah, Silver Snow, no super overpowered unit, so probably the best showcase of what I want to hopefully prove with this run. Okay, but I think that's enough of that for now. I said what I needed to. Before I move on to like Fortune's Weave, just let me have a quick look as to what else I need to say about like the upcoming run, which I think I like covered most of it. No, I think the rest is probably about the game in general and not about the run itself. Anyway, so anyways, I think it's time to like switch over. Just give me a second to like do this. So let me turn the sound off for a second. Well, not to like turn off the game, but just like get out of here. And it's time for Super Sinus mode, where I kind of, how'd I say it? Yeah, say my worst fears as to what Fortune's Weave might, like, why it might be not as fun as I hope it will be. So yeah, it came out a couple days ago, so a lot of people have probably like analyzed it, and those watching me have probably also like watched others as well, with their views about what the game is gonna look like. And some people like hype about the trailer, some people are worried. So I'm not gonna like analyze it or anything, but yeah, just like changing it up, I am gonna like say and talk about like what my biggest fears for this game are, and yeah, some how to say it, the worst case situations as to what your trailer shows, and if like pans out as I say it'll be, then I will be very sad. So this is like a super pessimistic view on the trailer and what Fortune's Weave is gonna look like. I'm not gonna like play like the video like in its like entirety, but I am going to like just like go through it and go to like specific points, and then just like comment on yeah, what's gonna be said here. All right, first, we do have a baby. Like, why is there a baby here? Honestly, this might be like right before the time skip. So, like just before like everything falls apart, and the baby I guess is probably like a young dragon. I'm actually not sure about like this one, but yeah, for this one specifically, it would be like very. I would be very disappointed if the baby like actually was like the demon dragon, and then like when it like grows like very fast, like, well, what's it gonna do? Just like become like super big after? Because that wouldn't make any sense. This is supposed to be a demon king. That's what I'm thinking. But then if she like goes back into like the demon world, does it just like come back in 5 years and then just become like super big? Because that'd be weird. So hopefully they have like a good explanation for like the baby. Since I didn't actually like see many people like talking about the baby itself. Like, why is it a baby? Whose baby is it? What's it gonna do? And why is it important? If it's not important, then that would also be a little bit sad too, with how it's just like right there. But, I guess we are going to find out. But yeah, that's like my main thought about like the baby thing. Okay. Moving on. Okay, Ashmel we can talk about later when they like talk about like the true protagonist thing. I'm not gonna like start that right now, so I am just gonna go on to next part. You read the Dagdam games, people just fighting. We had the four routes. Honestly, I think four routes was pretty cool as a concept. Since I thought they would all be like super separate, and then they would keep going. Like even after like the routes, sorry, the time skip, they're still gonna be like separate. They might like combine, well, not like combine, but interact with like each other eventually. But they will like stay on their separate paths. But yeah, that didn't quite happen. It can still be good, but yeah, that's also gonna be talked about a little bit more later when yeah the true protagonist gets like revealed. So I'm just gonna keep moving along for now. Okay, Dietrich. I guess did they play it way too safe with him? I think they did. Like he's from Poland, but then it's like all we saw of him was him liking to fight like strong people. Does he have like another quirk, or is that it for him? He might just be like an edgy boy. Came here to like fight strong people. He probably has like more of a backstory, but like the cynics in me says he doesn't. So he's just gonna be, yeah, just this guy who likes to fight, and that's it. Hopefully that's not the case. But for now, it's kind of looking like that's how it is, which is a little bit disappointing. But of course, he could turn out to be different and have more backstory that's not like revealed yet. But it's probably true. But yeah, just like the thing says at the bottom there, I am in super cynics mode. So worst case scenario, Beatrice is just like super bland, and I would be disappointed with how cool he looks with his teleporting sword. So yeah. Okay, and then keep going. Let's see what other comments I have. Dead Dad. Okay, nothing too surprising there. Peter. Okay, as for this part, I think that you do face the other people in the tournament. Actually, do you? because you can do like all the different routes at the same time. So that means they will face each other eventually. But then how are they gonna do that? If like all the timelines, unless if all the timelines are like all separate, because you can do all four at once, so they eventually lead to like the same merging point at like the very end. So that means that here there's supposed to be like a clear winner, unless if it does change because of Ashmel's intervention. So if it does, I guess if it's gonna like relate to like the point I'm gonna say later, but how's that gonna work? They can both win, but then that would be weird time wise. So these are like separate parallel lines that Ashmel is affecting, or there's gonna be one winner, and then this is just like a stare off, and they don't actually like fight each other, and instead they face other opponents until like the very end. But then who's gonna like win the Dagdan games at like the very end between like the four of them, since they all enter, unless if something do drop out midway, which is still possible, and then they like have their other priorities and goals to deal with too. So yeah, that's one confusing part to me. So I think for this one, it's kind of like, well, no, I think this is like probably related to like the other ones, where you can like view other people's battles, and then gain like EXP, like view the other contestant battles. That's explained a little bit later. But for this one, I think it's gonna be so weird, like having four winners of like the Dagdan games, and then they all just like join Eshmal at the very end. So honestly, just it might just be like four different timelines, and then at the very end, Eshmal gets like the powers, so he just pluck them out and then bring them to like the very end, into like his maybe not world but his time. But then that one makes sense too. Four heroes of the Dagdam games, which means that are they all separate then? Unless they are all winners at the very end. And like something interrupts the games, and then the four of them who are like the semi-finalists all join together and then beat them. That might be the way it goes. Yeah, I think. But of course, that's just like a random theory. Not quite sinners for this one, but I think that's kind of how like the games end, where they all join together to like fight a big foe. Well, maybe like one foe, but then like in the semifinals, something is going to interrupt the games, and then they are going to have to like take on their like own opponents, or something like that. Something like that. Okay. Moving on. Yeah, the squad selection I'm okay with. This means that you will have enough people to guess that you don't have to like recruit other people. So just like the run that I am going to do in 3 houses, I do want to like try to go through Fortune's Weave without recruiting anyone, and then seeing like how doable that is. Another thing is like how are the recruitables going to work? Unless if the recruitables are like separate for like everyone. Unless if you can like recruit everyone, it's like every other house. But then how's it got to like work after the time skip? So yeah, the super cynic answer to that is that the routes don't matter. After the time skip, nothing's gonna matter. It's gonna be like all the units that you do have to like recruit after. You just got like the 4 heroes, or like the 1, 2, 3, depending on how many routes you complete before you do Ashmel's. Which you might not even be able to do, but more about that later. But yeah, there's something like that. The rest is just attacking, nothing too interesting that I can talk about here that others have not covered. Special powers of the... Well, I guess like the blaze arts. They're pretty cool. Combat arts are fine. Oh yeah, the Fortuna's Blessing. Yeah, this is probably easier in normal mode, where the Fortuna's Blessing does not use the Divine Sand. Divine Sand is definitely used for the power-ups. For like the, not the statues, but like the goddesses' blessings. That is like explained a little bit later. But there's no like actual evidence that Fortuna's Blessing is going to use that. Because like I said before, the blessings are also called blessings from the other gods as well. So the super cynicism in me says that you get infinite turn wheels. But yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. But since it doesn't actually show the divine sand going down, either this is easy mode or it doesn't actually cost anything and you can like turn wheel unlimited amount of times, which is probably not true. But it could be. So yeah. Now, don't know how to play if you play all lords or not. 4 different armies are once for the times you live insane, especially the game is gonna have like 60 plus units. That is true. That's true. It would be cool. I mean, the trail did say that you could do the routes and then face, like, do a couple routes and then afterwards face like the Demon King. Was that actually true or not? Is my question. And like the Eshmo, well, I guess I'll show it off later too. But in like the Eshmo hub, you get like the 4 crystals and you're standing in front of it. But then where's the actual proof that after you complete one, you can just like leave the area and then just like do your own thing? Since that's the case, I guess it'll be like a second hub area in Eshmo's time. Like compared to like Daxian and like in the 4 routes time, I guess the crystal area will be, actually no, it doesn't look run down like the post time skip scene where like the 4 statues are like destroyed and like the Colosseum is also like kind of destroyed too. But I guess it's probably like better to like show that off. Where is it? And then afterwards I'll like come back to this. Yeah, but yeah, this it'd be like so bad, in my opinion, if you actually get like unlimited Fortuna's Blessing here. Like even on like the hardest difficulty, that would be very bad, and kind of boring. Oh, where is it? It's near the end with like the 4 statues. Yeah, right here. Try not to play it, so I don't get like copy striked or something. Unless this is like the Colosseum, but it kind of looks like it. Well, like the moss overgrown. It would be cool if like the story does change, depending on like how many lords you get. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think the most that's gonna happen is like some paralogs or something that get unlocked if you like do them. If the story does change. The worst thing is that if the story doesn't change at all. Yeah, the story doesn't change at all. You just get the lords and then you get to like fight the Demon King. How many chapters will there be after the time skip, though, in order to like face the Demon King? There's also another question. If it is an actual route or not. Yeah, the worst thing is that like the post time skip stuff doesn't actually happen. Like for example, let's say you like complete all 4 routes. Then what? Do they come with like their weapons, their EXP, and their skills, or are they all reset? And then you have to like do, and then they like come as like a set level with set stats. Because that would be kind of sad if they do just like come as like a, yeah, come pre-packaged. probably not like the best way to say it, but they come like out of like their routes and then they all get reset. So you do get their units, but then like all your training from before doesn't matter. And do they come with their squad? The party you start with, the close friends, or like all the recruitables? Since that also like matters as well, as to like how it feels after they like join up with you. I'll speed 100 over crits and solve the Demon King with Eshmo. That's also, I think that could be like pretty cool too. But it's probably easier with like all the different routes. Okay. One sinister thing that I can say is that even though it says that you can solo the game, is it actually possible? Are you even allowed to leave this area without completing all 4 obelisks? Is the question. Maybe they were just saying it because they like wanted to make it more epic that you could do it. And well, but then afterwards they show like Ashmel getting destroyed by the Demon King. So yeah, let's imagine a world where you can't actually leave this area until you actually like complete all 4. So in order to like progress to like the second half of the game, you do have to actually do all 4 of them in order to like leave this area, which is kind of like the second worst thing that can happen. It's not that the first part's gonna be meaningless, and then like the second half is gonna be like straightforward. After that, that's kind of like the worst thing that can happen. Second worst thing that can happen is that you have to complete all 4 before you can like move on, because then you'll be like, there's like no actual split. It's just like a straightforward story, just with 4 timelines in the past, and that's it. Now, Breath of the Wild type thing where you just get a bad ending. That could be true too. And the true ending is getting all 4 lords. Yep. Like the best thing that can happen is that you can like complete the game with like 1, 2, 3, 4 lords. Unlocked. Yeah, that's the best thing where like every stage like changes something, and then the worst thing is that it doesn't matter, where you just like do all 4, and then you get to the second half, and then you can like keep going, and then you beat the game with all 4 of them regardless. So you don't actually get like a choice. Yeah, that would probably be like the worst thing that can happen here. And I mean, it could still be fine as long as like the story is good. But then, I guess that's like part of me, since I did want the game to have more, how to say it. It's not like the game has to be replayable with a lot of different routes, but the 4 route thing would be a little bit disappointment, where you have to like do all 4 and then you can like progress. Now what's this? Just my super cynist take on the Fortune's Weave trailer that came out like a couple of days ago. So yeah, Axel, you probably missed like my first bit about what I'm gonna do for my 3 houses run. So yeah, I'm not gonna like explain all that again, but this is where we're at right now on like the trailer. Okay, but yeah, that's that. I guess since I'm up here, Ashmo. Yeah. I did already see it, but this is supposed to be Ashmo. And then this is probably like at the very beginning of the game where you do. Oh, yeah. As for like the timeline of the game, it's probably not that much of a secret, but I'm pretty sure you start with Ashmel after the time skip, and then you go back, and then you do all 4 lords, and then you come back to like the current time. But just like I said, just don't know how that's gonna like work exactly. But those are like my thoughts about what the routes might look like post time skip, and why that could be good or bad. Okay, but yeah, there is a character creation screen that's not in the trailer, but it did come out afterwards, a couple days later, so you can like customize Ashmel. Honestly, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. People like to make their characters. I personally like a single character, so without being able to touch them, since it makes it more like the character is like part of the story and not just like a avatar that you self-insert. Yeah, there's time travel. So I'm actually okay with Byleth. They actually, yeah, Byleth is a character I don't hate. He is kind of a self-insert avatar, but at the same time, he is a character that you cannot customize, so he does feel like a character in the world. And his silence is actually explained because of the crest of flames embedded in him. So they actually try to explain why he was like an avatar, but not supposed to be like an avatar. Insert bald character here. I don't think bald's an option, but you do get to like choose your hairstyle and your body type. Well, the gender is gender, but yeah, you can customize your character quite a bit. So it is a self-insert for sure. I guess if you like look at it from like another way, it could be a good or bad thing that you can change it to like suit your taste. But like I said, I'd rather have my characters be actual characters in the game and not like a straight self-insert. Okay, all of Byleth supports always just a cover character with no voice lines. That's true. That's true. So he is bad like that. But I think Ashmal's gonna be worse. Is the problem. Silent characters are overhated. There's a reason why they are hated, though. But personally, I don't mind Byleth too much. His supports are really weird though. That the other parts are basically like talking to themselves, and yeah, the choices that you do make are kind of pointless since they do lead to like the same conclusion. You know, they do add support points, but they're kind of the same either way. But I think Ashmal is gonna be worse than Byleth in terms of like self-insert. Since I do believe Ashmal is gonna have supports as well. How good they're gonna do it, I don't know. Oh yeah, there's also a problem that I was gonna talk about as well. Well, which is why I don't like doing things out of order because I had like a plan for this. But yeah, going back to like the four obelisks. The worst thing that can happen, I lied before. The absolute worst thing that can happen is that Eshmo actually travels back and is part of all four teams. Like you can like actually use him. I don't think you can because in like the one selection over here, Eshmo is not like not an option. Like here, so I don't think you can like use Eshmo like directly. But it would have been crazy if Ashmal could like go to like the pass in all four routes, fight in all four routes, and then gain like a lot of EXP from all four routes. That would have been crazy. That was like my first thought when I first saw this trailer. I'm like, oh my god, is Ashmal gonna be like super OP if he does like all four routes? But he doesn't seem usable in the past, unless if he's like force deployed. But I think like the lock thing here kind of signifies that they are force deployed. So you have to use them. So since Ashimal's not here, like the worst case scenario is probably not going to happen. So that's a good thing, I think. Thank goodness. So even though he is like the true protagonist, you cannot use him in the past to like, get EXP and like influence them. Well, I guess influence the game directly there. So that was like one thing off my chest, which is like I'm very super happy about. Hopefully Jenkins gonna carry every single round, never falls off and then grows because self-insert. Yeah, that would have been kind of crazy. So yeah, at the very least, like that super cynics part of me like died pretty quickly because yeah, Ashmal is not in the screen right here. Okay, but I just want to point out that was a possibility that could have happened, and that would have been very sad. Okay. Oh yeah. I guess since where's the next one that I was gonna talk about? The guns. Ms. Gun, Anatolia. Guns and Fire Emblem. I'm fine with them being guns, but why are they brawler? We have bows, which are 2 range. Why are they brawler? What does that mean? The guns are definitely 2 range because the bronze sword cannot counterattack. Imagine if the guns are like 3 or 4 range. But I'm pretty sure they're like 2 range. But why couldn't they just be like classified as bows is the question. Yep, that's a Glock. That is true. So yeah, that is a Glock right there. Actually, I guess it kind of looks like, well, I guess it's more like the laser. Well, without the laser sight, I guess it does look like a Glock. But why is it brawler? Is the question for me. That means there might be also like other weapons too, classified as brawler. But it might just be the guns. So it's still very weird how they're called. Well, they're probably like the brawler cast. Oh, but yeah, guns and Fire Emblem. Had to comment on that. Keep going, keep going. Anything else that I want to talk about? Comet arts, blaze arts using HP is pretty cool. It kind of looks like the blaze arts are only for like your lords. Well, the 4 lords in the past. Which means that there is a chance that Ashmel is also going to get a blaze art as well. He might get multiple. Since he has like the self-insert. Yeah, if these 4 are special enough to get the blaze arts, I'm pretty sure Ashmel also has a blaze art as well. And even though like Theodora is like the only one who uses the battalions, I'm pretty sure Asmel, because he is Ashmel, can also use the battalions as well. So even though it doesn't like show exactly Ashmel being able to use the blaze art, I'm pretty sure he can. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong though. Now, rifle for one of the later teasers. I see. Okay. Longbow and shambles. Ursula also had a blazing art. Okay. But okay. Yep, that's fine. I guess I just wasn't paying attention to like the other ones too much, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Ashmel does have one. The elephant in the room, that's gonna be a little bit later, since the Anna comes out a little bit later. Alright, I've already talked about the Fortuna's Blessing thing, where it might be infinite. Probably not though. New classes. Well, I say new classes. But this is kind of fewer classes than like 3 houses, but I don't mind like the 3 tiers. Speaking of like the classes, during the Lord selection screen, I gotta find it. Where is it? The Lord selection screen. It does show that the different lords do have strengths. Strengths and weaknesses, which is pretty cool. So it's gonna be like 3 houses where your characters do have like boons. Maybe not weaknesses, but probably boons. Yeah, I don't remember where it is. I think it was after the time skip. We are able to pick your route. Right here? Unless it was like earlier. I could be wrong. I probably am. But yeah, I'm too lazy to find it now. But yeah, that selection screen, you do see like strengths and weaknesses for like the different lords. Which means that I could have fun like in that game. Where you do like train a little bit faster in like the weapon types that they do specialize in, so it's easier to like gain EXP that way in like that specific class, so it's easier to become certain classes than others. But that also means that there might be a world where everyone becomes a wyvern, and that's like the strongest option for everyone, where they just become wyverns and then just like decimate everything from the air, especially if they get like Canto Plus again, because Canto Plus is busted. There's the elephant rider. But yeah, back to this thing right here. So you might be limited. Well, you probably aren't limited to your strength, since I don't think they want you to do that. But there's actually like no... Oh, they're missing some classes here. Setif is a Dragoon. But there's no Dragoon here. This is actually not all the classes in the game. I just realized that right now. Now, no tier 3 promo animations like Sword Feast. Nope. They're missing some classes. So even though there are like no flying dragoons here, I think Wyvern Rider is probably still a promo option. Unless if it's a special class, and then you can't become a flying unit. Unless if you're Setif in the Dragoon class. Or they're hiding classes that they're not showing off here. So Wyvern meta might be a thing, it might not be a thing. But it's because Setif is a flying class and it's not here. My super cynic conclusion is that the Wyvern meta is still available. And probably still like the strongest. It's just that horse riders aren't that strong because of lances being effective against horses. Like all lances. I can't believe I didn't realize it until now. Maybe you'll limit how many elephant riders you can reclass into as well. During one of the scenes, Kai does capture like an ostrich. So it might be limited unless you can like capture as many elephants as you can late game, and then you can like reclass everyone into an elephant rider, unless if the elephant rider is a unique class to Anna. So yeah, there are two options. One is that there are classes missing here, or the classes shown off later are unique classes to Setif and to Anna. I don't remember who Ursula was in the Guardian class. Is that going to be a unique class then? Unless if there's like a fourth tier that's not being shown. That could also be the case. But yeah. Honestly, it would be pretty cool if like the flying classes were unique. But I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. The more likely take is that I think that there are classes that are not shown here. I do believe. Hunter or Archer? Okay. Sorry, not Ursula. What's her name? Not Armor Knight. We had a Cataphract. Who is this person right here? Advanced. Guardian. Actually, no. I guess the Guardian's probably... No, Dragoons is an advanced class. It's not in like the list there. Unless if I'm just blind. Yeah, but I really don't see a Dragoon here. Which one's the Guardian? Would this be the Guardian? Heavily armored, using light magic. That does not look like it though. I mean, the Ostrich Rider is like right there. I don't know, but yeah, this is like something to think about. And then, yeah, we're finally at the Elephant Rider Anna. Heavy charge. It is Anna. So it could be like a unique class for her. But then you can also like become chariots as well. the charioteer. And does any of these look like charioteers though? Unless it was this guy. It might be this guy. Which means this guy might be a wyvern rider. Or dragoon. It's just that they don't show off the mount. But since they show off the horses, they should show off the mount then. Since we do have the bow knight. But then there's no cataphract here either. So they are hiding something. Something. Just don't know exactly what it is yet. But they are hiding something here. Okay. I don't think many other people mentioned it. Well, from what I've seen, I could just like miss like that talk. But yeah, this is probably just like something that I just know is here. Oh, the first one probably. Oh, maybe. They aren't showing every class on purpose. That's true. Which is fine. So yeah, the wyvern meta is still possible. And it's still very likely. Maybe they nerfed it so that they don't get like Canto Plus. But I don't think that's the case either. But yeah, this is Mr. Setiv with the blonde hair. Which means that this is probably a prequel. Mainly because of Setiv. Okay, but yeah. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about like the Elephant Rider and the charioteers. They don't like the AoE attacks. With a health bar like that, I think the elephant might be classified as like a monster. Maybe. But that's like is the charioteer gonna have like a different HP bar as well? I don't know. Okay. Let me go back to the charioteer for like a quick second. The Winged Soldier, they also didn't show off that one either. So they're definitely hiding classes. Okay, the health bar looks about the same as the others, and it looks like it does only like take up 1 space. But the Anna's elephant definitely looks like it takes up like 4. Which is why I'm thinking it might be considered a beast. Maybe. But then she is like standing on top of these two, but then looking pretty big for it too. Okay, it is pretty cool that they do like show off the main battle. Okay, as for the battles, 14 Wyvern lowest endgame, I think that is possible. That is definitely possible. Okay, it is cool that they do show off like the main battle, so it gives you like time to prepare. Tells you that you should be level 24 over here, but this might mean that you can't be like super under level for this. And I do wonder like how hard the fight's gonna be if you do like don't grind, like how you don't grind in 3 houses. And well, I guess you don't really have a choice in engage. But if you don't grind here, how hard is it gonna be? Is the question. Imagine if you don't like. I'm pretty sure that like they took into account the fact that if you don't grind, you can probably like still do the main battle, and it won't be like too hard. It's probably easier if you do grind, but I think it should still be possible if you don't grind. But yeah, I think the screen like showing you what the battle's gonna look like is kind of cool. It kind of makes sense in like the Dagda games where you do know who you're fighting, I guess. But how the hell is this supposed to show off post time skip? It's gonna look hella weird post time skip, where you are like facing like the Demon King's army, and then they just like, here, this is what my formation's gonna be like, and I'll be like, thanks. How the hell? Well, what the hell would you give me this info? So even though like the screen's like right here, I do hope that it's not gonna be in like the post time skip, because it's gonna be like super awkward knowing what the battle's gonna look like after. I'd rather it not tell you like this, where you have to like, go into battle itself to like see what it looks like. Because I can justify in the past and like post time skip, no, it makes like no sense. Kind of like how the post time skip Monastery and 3 houses was like, why do we have to go back there every time, even though it kind of doesn't make sense if it's captured? in enemy territory, but okay. And then gotta go back to like the very center every time, which is also kind of weird. But anyways, very seven. What do you mean it's very seven? But yeah, that's my concern with the. Well, I do like it, but I am concerned about this info post time skip. Okay, the world map, the activities, since they are like copying three, well, using stuff from three houses, it kind of makes sense that they would like do stuff like this. With like the training and all that. Preparing for battle in Daxian, training with each other, koala. Oh yeah, the spectate thing was the. This is the thing that I thought kind of makes sense between the four different routes. Since here, you're like spectating Theodore like fighting another group, so this might be like the match that's going on at the same time as I guess. Well, it might be like Kai's route, could be Lita's route, could be Beatrice's route. But basically, all four lords are never gonna actually like, fight each other. They're gonna like all fight for other people, all through the prequel. Well, I guess not like a prequel, but like pre-time skip, so that it will make sense after they all join up with HML post-time skip. So these are the battles happening like in the other routes, and you can like spectate them during the week for EXP, or you can just like let them happen, and then you just like prepare for your own battle, which I think is like what's going on, in my opinion. Okay, and then Temple Road, you get to do different stuff there as well. Quests are gonna be quests, so there's nothing special there. But I do have something to say about quests. But that's gonna be like after. Ends. Honestly, I think ends. Are they not broken? Can you just like not train all your units like after every time and then just like grind their levels? I guess you do want like class EXP and skill EXP in order to be able to like certify for different classes. But if it doesn't matter pre and post time skip, it doesn't matter if you just like train everyone to like the highest level they can get. And then afterwards, like post time skip, you just like, well, that of course depends on if the post time skip, your levels do reset, your class does reset, and your skills do reset. Or they get auto leveled if you're like too low level. That could also be a thing too. But the worst case scenario is if everything is reset. And then for this, the optimal way to like do the auto activity is just to go to the end and then just like do training for everyone. And then just like get stats and that's it. But I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be like as simple as that. But that's like one way to like just like go do this like very quickly. Go do like all the turns in order to like, get to the post time skip. Probably not like the most fun way though. I got a Juggernaut unit now. Less useful than doing it manually, probably, but it is an option depending on what the post time skip looks like. Just go and sleep in the end every time future playthroughs skip everything. Yep. So hopefully it's not like that. Hopefully. Okay, and then we have support conversations, which are pretty standard. The Pale Ray purchase, basically where you go to the here it was. Yeah, these are the strengths that I was like talking about. Where all the lords have like different strengths, which means that all the characters should have different strengths too. So they should get like be able to survive for different classes easier. So yeah, this was like my one. Well, another, how do I say it, fear for Fortune's Weave, that there would be like nothing to stop you to like just become, well, there's nothing stopping you per se to become like all wyverns. But at the very least, there is like some guidance as to what classes fit the characters. Yeah. Since I I do like my variety, and I do like putting people, I guess, to do things that fit them. Like in Three Houses, where I fit the classes to like their boons. It's just more fun to me that way. So this is like nothing too big, but just yeah, just my personal preference. Okay, and then keep going. Here, just like we're training. Is the overworld not just there to grind? What is the point of exploring is the question. You get to explore, you go into dungeons, you can fight enemies, you can grab stuff, you can get new items. But ultimately, is there a point in going to world map? You can grind in Daxian, you can train your skills in Daxian, you can buy items in Daxian. I guess you go out here to like find other stuff and like mine materials. But is that really necessary? That was a question. How important are the ores in dungeons? How important are the items that you buy in other places? Is there ultimately a point to do this? Just like how in Three Houses, is there really a point in doing seminars and resting? Unless if you're just like saving time. The one thing that I did notice here though is that you do need renown to like visit the Hilo stronghold. So renown is actually important to go to some places. But is this actually important to unlock this and to like get what's here? Is the question. And then using turns up, going to different places. Better rewards exploring overworld. Hopefully better. My Sinus mode says it's not that important. So hopefully it is important to explore, and it's going to be fun to explore. Because if it's just getting items, and it's just getting bows, I'd rather not do it. Since I'd rather not like grind myself to like to like being like super over leveled and like being the game like too easily. Something like that. Because this does kind of feel like grinding. I can definitely like see the overall be like the Tower of Volney. It's just a bigger place than the Tower of Volney. Yeah, but in steroids. Hopefully it's not that. Hopefully is a thing. I am very interested in like the locked places though, and what they give you. Yeah, I think these are my thoughts on the world map. Hopefully, like the exploration, there is a point. I think certain quests is gonna like take place in different places, so you do have to travel there. So if there is like a quest involved, I will probably go to overworld and like go to different places to like do the quest. But otherwise, unless if there's like a reason to, I don't think I'm gonna interact with the overworld too much. Like paralogs might also like take place up here too, so I might do that as well. And those might cost renown. Well, renown, professor level, probably equivalent. So yeah, those are hopefully are like the two main things, and maybe more. That's gonna be like related to like the world map. Yeah, so hopefully the world map is not just that, and like you get to like do some more stuff on it, and it's actually fun. But we shall see when it comes out. Okay, and I think those are my thoughts on world map. You can buy like different stuff from different places. Was that really important? Skirmishes, I will probably never do. Okay, dungeons, like I said, Cool for those who like will enjoy them. But is there like an actual point to like do these fights in like the underground? We shall see. Okay, and then we got the draw. Well, we got the games. We have their fights. Yeah, as you can see, they never like actually fight each other. There was a stare down before, but if I had to guess, that might be like the semifinals before they actually fight each other, and then something happens so that they never actually fight each other, which is how they will be like the four heroes of the Dagdan games, and how they're gonna like join up together post time skip without like without like the timeline being like super weird. Now there's Ashmel from before, and then we have the enemies, or probably be the generic soldiers post time skip, which is fine. Yeah, the Demon King is gonna be like the final boss. But who else are we gonna fight? That's the question. There's no indication as to like what the story's gonna be like afterwards. You probably have to face the what's her name again? It was mentioned like the very beginning. Yeah, what's her name again? But yeah, you probably have to fight her. You have to fight the Demon King. The Corruptor Risen. Yep. There might be some more enemies. If I had to guess, actually no. Yes. If I had to guess, I think you also have to face Solo as well. I'll try to like find his face again. Oh, where was his face? Notice the thing. Is that I think at the very beginning? Nope, it starts there. Where's his face? Mr. Solo. Ah, yeah, this guy. He hasn't done much. He does give you a quest. Unless it was gonna be like the Four Hounds all over again. But I think that there were the Four Hounds that would introduce the Four Hounds. I don't remember if the Engage trailer like introduces the Four Hounds. But since they didn't like actually show any like potential bad guys, it might be Demon King, her, and then Solo. It doesn't actually explain why these four are like called the heroes of the Dagdan games either. So something happens at the very end, and then they fight someone. Is it still him? It might be. Alright, for this one, I don't really have a take on it. I just, those are just my thoughts about who the potential enemies like post time skip might be. I don't think you faced those who stood in the dark, since we are in Dagda. Oh yeah, for the corrupted, where the hell were they in Foland is the question. I guess they got like wiped out in Dagda or something. Something like that. They never mentioned her name. Okay, just below her. The Demon King's name. Got it. Just below her. I mean, I guess since they're like if they're dragons, gods, probably makes sense that there will be like evil dragons too, and like below her. No, sorry, not just below her, but maybe like other evil dragons as well. Maybe. But I think that's basically my thoughts on the Fortune's Weave trailer. Yeah, more stuff is probably gonna get revealed later. And even though I was like super worried, well, I did like air my thoughts about my worries about the game. I am still looking forward to it. It might not be like Three Houses where you get like all the different routes and you get like incentive to like play all through them at once. Sorry, play through them separately, and you might be able to like do them all at once, but that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You just have to like kind of think of it like a single playthrough, just like some extra chapters in between that are happening at the same time in like parallel. So it's basically like other Fire Emblem games that's like linear. So it's not really a split per se. You can do it in any order you want, but I think for like my own enjoyment, I'm just gonna like think about it as a single playthrough, just like how Engage was, how like FE7 is. Well, FE7 is a little bit different with like the three routes there too. FE8 has like the different ones. I guess it's basically like the linear ones like FE9, Radiant Dawn, FE1 to 5. Yeah, like the linear ones. Just with like an extra step in, 3 extra steps in between. With the 4 different lords. Story will be generic in the end. Honestly, it might be with the Demon King and then Ashmel. I don't really see them like doing anything like too fancy at the end there. They kind of revealed most of the story for like the early game. So the biggest surprise is probably gonna be who the like boss is pre-time skip, and who you're gonna like face at the very end of the Dagda games. So I am looking forward to that at the very least. Okay. Now, yeah, prequel. I'll talk about everything else. So hopefully I'm not. Well, I guess even if I am forgetting anything, I can like maybe like say it during my Three Houses run. Especially when I guess more stuff comes out with like later teasers and I guess character profiles before Fortune's Week comes out. Since there's also like the developers talk 2 days before it releases, but I have no idea why they didn't just do it earlier. Okay, but yeah, I still can't believe I didn't realize until like when I was talking about it that they are hiding classes, or that there are unique classes. So yeah, Wyvern meta. Okay, back to the houses. Time to turn that back off. Turn off Sinus mode, like that. Put it back on, and then turn off the music. Down right there. Okay. Pull and on this route and fight skeletons in one of the final chapter routes. They might do that if the story changes, depending on how many routes you do. But I guess hopefully they do that. Because if they don't change anything, I will be like very disappointed. Okay, anyways, 3 houses. Okay, so yeah, my run's gonna be like in a couple days, but I just want to finish this off with like my overall impressions of like 3 houses as a whole, and I guess maybe how they're gonna like shape my expectations for what I'm looking forward to in Fortune's Weave, I guess is why I'm like doing this. Okay, I guess okay, first thing I'm gonna say is that I really do like 3 houses. I think it's like a very fun game. Yeah, the strongest points are definitely like its story and its characters, with all of them like being unique. A lot of them are a little bit over the top, and they do, how do I say it? They go a little bit too far in some of like the supports, where they do like talk about like the same stuff, but at the same time, you could definitely see that like they tried, for like the entire story to like try to I don't know, change the characters up and make them as unique as possible and have them contribute in like some way to like the world of Froland. So yeah, I really do like it in that aspect for sure. Yeah, it had the like, very interesting mechanics with the different classes, with their different skills and their different boons. Of course, they're like the Wyvern. Yeah. With a Canto Plus, which some of them are busted. But I had like fun using like all the different classes available because of like my limit on what classes I turn people into. So I kind of got to like experience all of them. And I think some people don't like battalions, but I think they do add, how do I say it? They do add to the complexity of like the battles. So battalions, they give you stats, and their abilities are kind of game changing. Honestly, I think like, well, 3 battalions are busted. 3 iconic lines from 3 houses. I keep loading this one. I don't know why I keep loading that one. That's not why I want to load. 3 iconic lines. It's fine. But yeah, that's pretty like the strong points, and I think that's like universally accepted for like 3 houses. So hopefully there's like not much contention there. It's like the story. There are like some stuff that's like kind of weird, like how it's never explained like how Nemesis came back. He just like comes back and that's it. And then there's also the fact that like there's a time scale with like the 5 years, and then like the battle doesn't move too much in that meantime. Even though Edelgard does like conquer the north quite a bit and pushes pushes like the Blue Lion's houses like pretty far back. But it's weird that she doesn't like actually finish the war during the time that like Byleth's gone. So that's a little bit weird. But yeah, small plot holes, but overall I think the story is like quite, do I call it strong? I do want to call it immersive, for sure. It's definitely immersive. But yeah, as for like the battalions that are like super busted in this game, we do have like the, well, Claude Edelgards and Dimitri's are all busted with how strong they are. Retribution is pretty busted. Being able to like counter like Meteor, you know you can't like counter like the ballistas. But it's like super good at like counting like meteors and like the long range magic that you otherwise can't get into. Because Retribution is basically like how I beat the Blue Lions Maddening mode. Yeah. Stride's like super good. Being able to like give 5 movement 2 times. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like basically like 11 units total, which is kind of crazy. Impermeable Wall is pretty good. 5 uses. 3 units get like, you deal and take 1 damage, but this is basically the way that you like bait enemies in Maddening, is what this when you do get it. So also busted Battalion, and the last one is Blessing. A little bit less busted since you can like only use this once, but being able to like have some people survive like 1 HP, and then being able to like counterattack afterwards if you don't like die is pretty nifty to have. I think this one's a little bit worse than like the 1 damage one, and then Stride and Retribution, but still pretty good. Yeah, the rest of the battalions also do stuff. They're okay. But the coolest thing is, well, maybe not like the coolest, but most basic thing is that they do get like extra stats. So you should like max out like the super good ones. Oh yeah, 2 dance battalions you can also get from Blue Lines. If you get from Blue Lines, so yeah, those were helpful too on the Blue Lines route. But yeah, the good thing is that the Retribution one is not just Blue Lines. But yeah, personally I do like the battalions. And it's also cool that the battalions also like take damage if the unit also takes damage, so you do also gotta be aware of that when you do like tank attacks. that you don't like lose the effect of your battalion. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Yeah, that's what I started with. Alright, gameplay wise, it's not that good. But I think this is like one of the games, hacks or not, where the story is so good that you can't overlook the how do I say it? The weaknesses. The weaknesses? No. The flaws and like the other aspects of Three Houses. Yeah, because the map design is definitely not like one of the strong points of the game. Since there are a couple maps with like open areas with well, I am talking specifically in Maddening, but a lot of places with a lot of big maps, a lot of units that are like overpowered, and ambush spawns that like come from you from like at very inopportune times, who also have like inflated stats too. So yeah, they also reuse maps a lot. That I don't have that much of a problem with, because it's not like you like go from like the same map to like the same map like one after the other, so it's not that bad. But they definitely could have been a little less open, for sure, and could also be how to say it, change out the objectives as well, since a lot of them is either route or kill commander, and that's it. Yeah, that's about it. So they can definitely change that up, but like I said, the story and the characters are just so good that I can like overlook the gameplay to a certain extent, since it's not like all the maps are like that bad. The Miklon one where you go like in the like up the tower to like face Miklon and like where he turns into a beast, that one's pretty bad though. That one doesn't have that much open area, but at the same time you have to like travel all the way around in order to like, get to the boss. So that one is pretty bad, I think, design wise, and does waste your time quite a bit. But even that one can be overlooked. So it's bad, but doesn't like hurt my overall impression of the game too much. It could be better for sure. Formu scores bore me. Yeah, that one's pretty awful. So yeah, that one had to be mentioned since that is kind of like the worst one. But overall, I do like the game. Okay. One, how do I like phrase this one? For some people, the replayability of Three Houses is an issue. Replayability, it's kind of like my issue with the like, not my issue, but my observation that not too many people like stream the game on like the highest difficulty, because it is unbalanced, and the product seems super unfun. But I think most of the replayability in Three Houses does come from like experiencing all 4 routes, because that was what they were going for. Well, DLC? Nope. I did not talk about DLC here. Yeah, for my run, I'm not gonna do DLCs. Oh, well, I guess I should like talk about the DLC, since it also like ties into like the online stuff where you can't like pick up the stuff on the ground. But yeah, for all my runs, I never touched the DLC. They give me like extra chapters and extra stuff to do, and extra characters, because the DLC does make the game easier. It is kind of pay to win, because you do get like more maps to grind off like the DLC for Three Houses. Like for the engage one, at the very least, you don't. It's kind of like separate. But like for Three Houses, it is kind of pay to win. And I am of the belief that when you buy a full game, it should come with everything. So generally, I don't buy DLC because that's just extra. If a game is bad without DLC, and if it's not complete without DLC, then I'm not gonna get it. Thankfully, Three Houses isn't that bad. I think it's pretty complete, even without like the DLC characters. You get Busted Master, give you so much gold. Yeah, yeah. So the DLC is will probably make Maddening even easier than hopefully what I'm gonna show it is. But yeah, I went off topic a little bit, but replayability mainly from like the 4 routes. I think it's fine for Three Houses not being replayable. Not every Fire Emblem game has to be Iron Manable for it to be a good Fire Emblem game. Is that a good Fire Emblem game though? Is of course the question. I think it's good. Because you get like the turn-based combat, you also get like the training skills, and like the Monastery part. A lot of people do get bored of the Monastery part, but they probably go through it to like experience all they can during like the 4 routes. And then afterwards they don't want to touch the Monastery again, which is understandable. Of how tedious it is. But it's also like part of the reason why I'm doing this, to show that you don't have to interact with the Monastery. Still enjoy the game, still beat it. Without doing the Monastery if you don't enjoy it. But I am sidetracking a little bit. Like I said, personally I spent like 100 hours for like each route when I like beat all 4 routes like the first time. Yeah, the Monastery should have been removed part 2, but since it is in it, I do use it to like talk to all the characters. And well, mainly to like get all of the dialogue options. So there's that. But my main... No, I'm getting sidetracked again. My main point is that Three Houses doesn't have to be replayable or Iron Manable to be a good game. With how much content is put into it. With all the different characters that you get to play with in like the different routes. And even though the maps are reused, they are still changed in all the different routes. And you have to like play them a little bit differently, even in like the early game. So after you like beat the game on all 4 routes, you can just like put it down and not play again as you like experience it. If I had to like make a comparison, I would probably compare it to like Outer Wilds and like other, how do I say, story-driven games where you play it once and that's all it needs to be played to like remember as like very good, and like remember like the magic that came with it the first time. 24-hour stream Monastery incoming. No, I'm gonna like try to like do as little Monastery as I can to prove a point. Talk to the gatekeeper in between each chapter, then lecture the rest. Yep. No, it's more like a talk to gatekeeper and then like talk to your students and then afterwards just like skip the rest. No, it's basically like lecture all of them. Yeah. But yeah. For me personally, I don't think Three Houses need to be replayable, but I think it is replayable. Since you don't have to do a Monastery. And those who don't Iron Man it because they think the Monastery, well, the reason they give is the Monastery takes too long, are just those who are, I don't want to call them cowards, but they don't Okay, they don't have the time to do it, and they don't have the time to reset and start from the very beginning if they don't beat it, because Maddening is pretty hard without the Monastery. For me, I don't mind failure too much since I have fun doing it. But yeah, I can definitely see it being a time sink, but I can also see it being a fun challenge. It's just that they don't do it because they kind of can't. Well, I don't want to be mean. Pretty extreme content. That's why you skip the Monastery is the thing. I'll go speed lunatic difficulty moment. Yeah. You have to know the game a lot. So you have to play a lot. So you do have to invest time into it to learn the maps. Learn the characters. Learn what skills they get. And basically play safe in Maddening since it is player phase heavy. So it is a huge time sink, which a lot of people don't have without the Monastery. So you either need a lot of time learning about the game without using the Monastery, or you have to put a lot of time into doing the Monastery. I guess this is the main problem. And that hurts, I guess, the exposure for Three Houses in terms of its continuous replayability, even though like a lot of people are like replaying it now like me because of Fortune's Weave, but like normally they would probably go to other games since they are a little bit easier to do. But yeah, my main reason for streaming Three Houses Maddening is to show that it is replayable without too much time investment, hopefully, so that it gets more exposure. I guess it's like the main thing that I want to talk about. Okay, were you playing the lower difficulty, then that's probably fine. For people who like enjoy hard mode, they can do it. For me, it's just too easy. And even if I like beat it, doing like an Iron Man without like no divine pulses, I don't think it like proves much without like the Monastery, since I think hard mode is definitely doable without the Monastery for sure. The question is just Maddening, and I might not be able to do it, but I want to try to prove that is doable. Yeah, most players are casual, that's fine. Sword Masters with 50 speed are awful. That is also true, but how do I say it? I feel like it, especially in like the Golden Deer route, you have so many different options to use like fight enemies. You can like battalion them, you can like 2-range them to death. As long as you're not like facing like a super large squad, a lot of the units do come in like small groups towards you. So as long, well, that's also a problem. A lot of people don't play slow. So, yeah, a lot of people don't play slow. So Maddening is probably also a problem for them as well. Yeah, I think the problem with like hard mode is that it is too easy. And for those who play hard mode, they mainly do it like for like mainly the story as well. For those who like do challenge runs, I think Maddening is probably the default. So I think the problems I listed before is like the main problem for like many of those who like play like replay Fire Emblem. That's not for a story. But like I said at like the very beginning, I don't think replayability is an issue with how big the game is. Well, with like the 4 routes, and after you're like done with it, yeah, you can safely say that you like replay the game and experience as much as you wanted, and that's totally fine. Send routes to the front lines and let the RNG decide its fate. Reset if he dies. My Raphael's kind of bad. Yeah, actually, Raphael might the only person in like the Golden Deer who actually had a chance to live. Let me quickly check. Yeah, since he had as many as HP pool, well, my Raphael kind of sucked. Yeah. Okay, I might be how to say it. I might be even repeating myself one more time. But replayability in Three Houses, like even excluding like people like me who like do just Manning runs, a lot of people probably do replay it with like the other routes, which still counts as like replaying. With how much time do you have to do if you do want like experience like the supports, plus like the different talks as well, and like the different routes. So the maps themselves might not be replayed a lot, but I think a lot of people have replayed the game to like experience the stories of like the different routes. So at the very least, they did do like three playthroughs of the game, which I think is a lot more than, well, at the very least for the casuals, a lot more playthroughs than like other Fire Emblem games for sure. Highest cap alongside the duo at 120. Let me see mine during this run. Raphael, level 34, 72 health, 23 defense. I think his defense is kind of bad, but yeah, he wasn't like one of the few people who could like tank one attack in Maddening. But this is probably not the best Raphael of how little defense he has. I'm surprised he has more speed, almost as much speed as defense. This is kind of crazy. So, yeah, I was a little bit long-winded about the replayability of Three Houses, but hopefully I got like my two main points across as to why people don't replay it, and well, beyond the 4 routes, which I think still counts as being replayed quite a bit, and why it's not replayed for its well, because this gameplay is like not that good, but I think it is doable, and people who complain about it not being doable because of Monastery just don't want to invest the time to like learn the game. But yeah, there's also like the fun factor as well, they're like doing Maddening, which is also an issue for those who don't like challenges and like super hard difficulties like me, which is totally understandable since I am kind of crazy like that. Okay, but back to the beginning once more. I do like having this music while it talks, since it's not too loud. Okay. Well, I guess since I talked about story, well, yeah, since I am probably gonna do the church route, I have to say that like the church route might be my favorite route to play. I'm probably a little bit biased since I did like play it first, but I feel like it kind of also like makes the most sense story-wise. It's kind of the same as Golden Deer, but Golden Deer you kind of start from like the Golden Deer side and you push towards the Empire. The thing I really don't like about the Golden Deer, even though it was cool, was the Nemesis fight. So it's weird how Nemesis does come back at the very end, and it's not properly explained how or why. Crimson Flower first is so awful. Last round just sucks. Crimson Flower I do think is supposed to be like non-canon. Because I think with Byleth's background, it kind of makes sense if he does go with Elgard a little bit. But then Crimson Flower is probably like the most non-canon of like the 4 of them. Because it, yeah, when I did church route, I just like found it like super cool that like the students that you like taught actually betrayed like the Empire for you because of like the bond you developed. That they actually like go with you and then they do like become like the resistance force with Byleth, and like the center Agaramok as like the central point of like the rebellion against the Empire. While you like, while the Blue Lions and the Golden Deer do their own thing, you also do your own thing as like the main character in the middle. Kaya's Nemesis Trust. I would not put it past them to make Kai Nemesis. And then he get like super old and it gets like super angry about what happens to his father. So that he like takes his anger out in Folin against the dragons and Celtis or something. I don't know. But yeah. So if I say anything during my run, just know that it comes from a place of bias towards the church route, since I did do like the church route first. Besides the fact that the church route is probably like the hardest out of the four to do like a Manning run without Edelgard and Hubert. You know, you do get Catherine, Shamir, and Cecil, but I don't think they're as good as Edelgard. For sure. The most fleshed out is definitely Blue Lines, for sure. Even though it doesn't like go into like ending afterwards, since you don't have to like face Rhea. But I don't consider Blue Lines to be like, how do I say it? My favorite because of the different points that you do miss out from like the Church route and the Golden Deer route. Elgar just sold her own route for busted cover art. Yep. Which is why I'm probably not going to do Crimson Flowery, even though I am doing Black Eagles. Because Edelgard, she can solo, even in Maddening. Well, she can't exactly a solo, but you get the point. She makes the Maddening quite a bit easier than the other three routes. Since you do also like get her from like at the very beginning, and then you can like feed her like all the EXP, especially all like the beginning, and then she just like pops off after. Yeah, but church route, Byleth being like the combination of Sothis, and then him being like the leader of the church, kind of just makes sense with his green hair. Well, the most sense, anyways. Okay. Supports are supports, they're fine. In Maddening, you do have to use like the supports. So and even though like some of the supports are like repetitive as to like their topics that they talk about, and especially Bernadetta, and like how certain supports can get on your nerves. I think overall the supports do at the very least like flesh out the characters more. Just like in other Fire Emblem games, so they're not like special, but they are there. Now, just invest everything in her, Byleth, and Juggernaut Manning. Yep, that's the plan. But not for me. Okay, yeah, not much to say about the supports. I've already talked about the Monastery quite a bit. I will say though, the Monastery does add to how immersed you are into the world, since it does make you feel like a teacher at Garabog, where you do like teach your students and you like do all the different stuff there, interact with the world, become part of it. So you know, I think the Monastery is too long, and you do have like interactive with it a little bit too much, especially for like the casual non-Fire Emblem players. I think the Monastery is like a necessary part of the game for people to like get immersed in the world and really like helps people enjoy Fire Emblem if like the Monastery is more their thing. It's not really necessary in the second half, but I can definitely see why the devs didn't just like get rid of it with how core it is to like the first half. Just getting rid of it will also feel weird too. You know, I would also rather it be gone. But yeah, the Monastery is necessary, even though it's not my favorite thing. 5 points teacher. Come on. That's even like the wrong game, man. Okay. But yeah, since I talked about the Monastery that long, I'm not gonna go like too much more into it. Just that it is necessary. But yeah, if you can't tell, I'm basically like going down the list as to what I want to talk about, which I already like talked about quite a bit of it with my rant at the very beginning, and then my fears for Fortune's Weave. Heart's too easy. Maddening is BS. About the Amish spawns. You know, like, actually, before the stream, I was thinking, is the openness of Maddening actually that bad? The map design could be better, but because of how overinflated enemy stats are, does the map actually matter? You can only like bait an enemy like 1 or 2 at the same time, so the enemies themselves kind of act like obstacles in the map itself, since you can only like bait 1 or 2. So you have to like, get in the range, but you can't get in the range of other units or else you will die. So it's a little bit weird. Like, I was just thinking about it. Are the enemies themselves not obstacles in the map? So something with like the more open maps seem very open and hard, but in Maddening they seem a little bit less open because of where you can and cannot go, because of where the enemies are. What maps even have choke points? There are a couple maps with choke points, but I think the point I'm trying to make is, on Maddening, are the enemies not choke points themselves? Kind of. I'm not defending the map design of Three Houses. It's generally bad. Well, maybe not bad, but it's definitely not above okay. Definitely not above average. But a lot of them are below average for sure, in terms of like Fire Emblem quality. The mainline ones. Anyways, because a lot of the like the hack ones are like top tier quality. Some of them, but I'm digressing. I don't know what point I'm trying to make here, but I think the maps, how do I say it? They don't look so bad in Maddening because of where you're limited and where you can go. So it kind of feels like the choke points are there when they're actually not there. Because you can't move anywhere else or else you will die. Because of how scary the enemies are, if that makes sense. You have to replay the maps. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what I want to say there, but it was just like a random thought that I had. It probably applies to like other games too. I guess that's like also one reason why I want to like revisit Three Houses Maddening. Like, disregarding the map, how does the enemy placements look like? And are they, well, this is probably like a very, very simple vague term, but are they good? The enemy placements themselves. Because ambush spawns, they're annoying, but how are they also placed? And did they also add to the game and not just be annoying? Like, okay, this is probably like my least thought out point because I just thought of it just before the stream. But yeah, I'm just gonna end it there before I like confuse more people. But hopefully some of you like got the point. Golden Dork. I might be being a dork right now. That's true. Okay. Next. Yep. skill system. Skill system. If you watch me for a while, you basically know that generally I like my gameplay without skills. But personally, I quite like the skill system in this game, where it's like tied to classes, and it's like tied to mastering classes and like learning them from like the different classes that you do like become. Blue Believer. Blue Believer. No. I'm doing a Black Eagles for my run, actually. Yeah, I think the class system in this game is actually pretty cool. I still rather not have skills in my games, but the skill system did intrigue me, and I did like have fun using it in this one. No luck all skills? I mean, I did beat all four, well, yeah, I did beat like all four routes of Manning. New game. Well, I did have to like restart a couple times, but basically new game, no new game plus, no DLC, no recruiting from other houses, and no classes that they don't have boons in. So yeah, this next run that I'm gonna do is basically how I play. Yeah, this is, well, I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. It's basically how I play, but hopefully it is like doable for like other people as well. Okay. Next, animations. Oh, animations. I've seen a lot of people say that Three Houses animations and like the assets are not great. I can definitely see where they're coming from. The 3D models are for like when people fight and like, sorry, when they like talk, are kind of bad. With like the red noses. And their faces not looking like they're 2D portraits. They're pretty bad. I think they're like the worst part of the game, in my opinion. Even worse than like the map design. Those 3D models are atrocious. Like all of them, in my opinion. Am I gonna use a dancer? Yes. Why not use a dancer? Why wouldn't I use a dancer? I'm bad at using dancers, but I am gonna use a dancer. Yeah, dancers don't really need proficiency since you just get one. PS1 graphics, they are bad. Okay, but the 2D portraits do look nice. And even though people do say like the animations do look bad, personally I think like at the very least the battle ones are the best we've gotten before like Engage. I think they actually do attack like very smoothly. When they do attack and when they dodge and then when they crit, they do look a little bit stiff, but I think they are better than everything that came before it. Personally, I do like the pixel arts of my GBA games a little bit more, but I think objectively, I think they do look the best. Well, like when it came out. Yes, Engage has some sick-ass animations, which is why I said when it came out. And not including Engage, since this did come out before Engage. Now, who's gonna be my dancer? I haven't decided yet. I actually haven't decided yet. It'll be the person who I think is gonna be the most useless. No offense to anyone in like the Black Eagles, but someone who is probably gonna be like my most useless unit, depending on like their growth. So we shall see. We shall see. Bottom dancer though, bottom's way too important. Okay, but yeah, I think the battle animations are totally fine. Dodge tank. Ferdinand's gonna be a tank. He's not gonna be dodge tanking. He's going to be a tank. Don't do that to Ferdinand. Mr. Ferdinand Ponegger. Yeah. Okay. 2D models are great. Battle animations are great. 3D models suck. The background's kind of bad. Okay. For the battle animations, I will say the Wyvern and the Pegasus Knights, like their attack animations, they take way too long. Those ones are way too long. They should really like cut back on like their regular attacks. Like, why do they take like 2 seconds to charge and like 3 seconds to attack? That's way too long, man. I guess the dancing animations are also too long too, but that's dancing. It's fine. Since you can just like skip the animations, I guess. But those two are like way too long. Okay, not much else to say there. Oh yeah, it is a little bit silly seeing like the battalions just like running around in the background, not doing much. They're just doing like stupid stuff. Armor Knight animations and Radiant Dawn. Those are too long too. I don't know which one's worse though. The Radiant Dawn one or the Wyvern ones in this game. I feel like the Wyvern ones in this one. At the very least they make less sense than the Armor Knight ones, since the Armor Knight ones are supposed to be slow and clunky because of their class. But the Wyvern ones in this game just don't make any sense. They just don't. Yeah. And then like the battalions just running around in the background like headless chickens. That could also be fixed too. Or they could just not be part. Well, no. I guess it does show that they are like there. I just wish that like the battalions. I'm fine with them just standing in the back. Just don't like run around. When like nothing's happening. Okay. Next on my list, music. I think it's probably universally accepted that Three Houses have some pretty good music. Personally, since okay, my personal favorite is probably Chasing Daybreak, because seeing like the time skip characters come out with that music blasting was pretty cool, especially the first time around when that happened. The time skip paired with the Chasing Daybreak, it just sounds so good. And then the Edge of Dawn, because I've heard it so much, with like the opening, and one like the few tracks with like the singing in it. This might be a hot take, but I kind of don't like the Nemesis music at the very end, with the opera singing. I guess I'm not just an opera guy, but I do prefer like Chasing Daybreak and Edge of Dawn over the last track for the Golden Deer. So I guess I just don't have the classical taste in me, I guess. Okay. Not much else to say about the music, because it is like pretty good overall. Some of the tracks are a little bit slow and boring, but I think overall they do like fit the game like pretty nicely. Like even like this one playing right now, it just like fits it. Now I think that's everything. Let's see like my impressions. Well, I guess how I feel about the game, having like played through it 4 times. I am relying on my memory for a little bit of it, but those are my general impressions and opinions, so it's not like they're actual fact, but I just want to put it out there. And speaking of facts, yeah, I did put it in like the description, but a lot of my takes for like the Three Houses and the trailer for Fortune's Weave are, yeah, basically my opinions and what I think about like the 2 games. They could be wrong. I'm okay with it. I could fail in this challenge where I do like find like the safest strategy in order to like beat the Silver Snow, and it might just be like too hard to like Iron Man it without the Monastery, which is fine. That's fine. At least I tried. Yeah, just like my takes. They could be wrong. That's okay. But hopefully they were at the very least like thought-provoking and added to like the discourse of Fire Emblem. Well, these 2 games and maybe in general as well. as to like how you think about it and how you think about grinding, and yeah, maybe even like replayability as to why I think this game doesn't have to be as replayable, because there are 4 routes, and how many hours you could like sink into it without having to like do challenge runs, and that still counts as being replayable. Can't even say God Shining Star. My bad. Is that actually called that? I thought it had like a different name. Oh yeah. Voice or music. Is it God Shining Star? I think it is. It is. Yeah, it's not my fault. It's like only plays like during one map and that's it. Yeah, maybe the music for me, I think it's more tied into the maps themselves. Since the last map with Nemesis didn't like wow me or anything compared to like Chasing Daybreak. Maybe that's why I just don't like it as much as like the other ones. Maybe. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so I guess that's it. I'm just looking through a trailer once more to see if I missed anything I want to say there one last time. Yeah, you know, I did like do my super pessimistic views on the trailer. I'm still looking forward to Fortune's Weave. I just hope that like the story doesn't go full engage, especially with like the second half. Especially with it being tied to 3 houses, where I did like enjoy the story quite a bit. So yeah, if it goes full engage, I'll be like super disappointed. Where you just like fight the Demon King, face a couple of like the 4 hound enemies before that, and then like the pre-time skip doesn't actually matter. I would be so sad. Even if like the gameplay is like top tier, it could have been like so much more. And by top tier, I mean like engage levels. I'm not expecting it to be like Allegory Spear or like the Shadow of Dawn level of gameplay. Just at the very least engage level, and hopefully like close to 3 houses levels of story and characters. Nope, that's Fortune's Weave. And then for okay, in case you like skipped to the very end, recap for my 3 houses run. Maddening mode, Silver Snow, so Black Eagles, but no Edgar or Hubert. No DLC. As low monster as possible. I don't know if I'm gonna skip the supports. I'm probably not gonna skip the story for those who like wanna like see the story again. At the very least, like the main story. I might skip the supports, depending on like how long it takes for the Monastery to go. Unless if like people want to like see the supports, I can also like show the supports of the Black Eagles as well. I'm still like thinking about that. But definitely main story. As little Monastery as possible. I do want to do all the quests since they do give you stuff. And the items on the ground, they do help with support points. So I don't think that's important. I might pick them up if they're nearby. And I'm also not sure if I want to do like the talks in the Monastery with like my students. I'm definitely not doing the talks with like the other students. Maybe just with the Black Eagles. Maybe. You know, I am trying to prove that you don't have to interact with the Monastery too much. But I might just interact with the Black Eagles for content. And see how much time that adds up. Yeah. And then for classes, I'm only gonna go classes where people have boons in. So for the Black Eagles, there are gonna be a lot of units that don't get tiered. Well, I guess master classes, which I just have to like work around. I might make like one of them a dancer, depending on how things go. If they can't get master class, at the very least they'll have like dancer class. But the main point is to prove that you can do like 3 houses manning without the monastery. Well, sorry, without, I guess, maxing out the monastery, since I am going to still do a little bit. But I am going to try to like make it like super fast. All Wyvern Lords to prove a point. No, that doesn't prove a point. That doesn't prove a point at all. I think, well, hopefully what I'm doing will prove a point. That for those who actually want to do like a 3 houses Iron Man without my, well, if I can do it with all my restrictions, then you should be able to do it without those restrictions. Because like even without the monastery, with the added benefit of the DLC, with different classes, and with, well, I guess the mod that's out there. Without the monastery, but you still get the other benefits. It should still be easier than what I'm doing. So the Iron Man, for anyone who does it, should be, at the very least in practice, doable. If not hard. Yeah. And maybe a little bit time consuming for the number of restarts that you have to do. But yeah. But the main thing is that I do think that this kind of stuff is fun. Okay. That's enough talking. Talk for way too long without any gameplay. But then the main gameplay is going to start next time. Okay. So hopefully I didn't confuse people too much. The Monastery. It is out there. And it is available to do for those who do want, well, the easy way out. Since that is definitely the easy way out, rather than just like skipping the monastery in the regular game. Yeah, the monastery is the easy way out, in my opinion. Okay, so with that is gonna be it for this one. Unless if there are like any questions or if there are like any comments that I want to respond to. Still looking forward to Fortune's Weave. Hopefully those who watch either, well, hopefully I succeed, and if I fail I still like make a point, any point. Nah, that's what I said before, but hopefully you'll enjoy watching. So with that is gonna be it for this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time for part 1, where we do start, well, I guess we have to start with like the prologue, and then afterwards with the Black Eagles. So hopefully the next time won't take too long getting through like the intro, since the intro does have a lot of scenes in it, for sure. 1% crit game over first map. Don't jinx me like that, bro. Yeah, don't jinx me like that. Okay, yeah. I'll see you then. And if I don't see you then hopefully I'll see you in my my Fortune's Weave run, where my worst fears hopefully don't come to pass, and that it's actually a very good game, and that it's very enjoyable, and it's like the best Fire Emblem game out there, hopefully. So, one and done? Nope. This is not an Iron Man, by the way. I'm gonna try to restart as little as possible, but this is not an Iron Man for this 3 houses run, by the way. Okay, bye. Oh yeah, I will be actually it's not bye yet. I will be muting myself, so I am gonna like show off my warp strat for the map that I said I was gonna show off at the very end. with Lysithea and the Golden Deer and Hubert. So yeah, bye for my voice, but I am gonna be like playing a little bit.
We were told Hubert would be leading the enemy forces, but the Death will have to take care of both of them, but we won't have time to mop up all the enemy units. We'll have to split up and take them on at the same time, or risk being overrun by their reinforcements.
It's here! The Crest of Flames banner! There, on the other side of the canal!
Uninvited guests, I see. Let's ensure they receive a warm welcome. Ready the artillery. Prepare to attack. Rocks, arrows, magic. Rain death upon the enemy until they are silent as the grave. Reinforcements will fly in shortly. Defend the heavy weapons until they arrive.
At the ready. Steady now.
Oh, lovely.
Shall we?
Let's make this quick.
Our quarrel wasn't personal. I must always improve.
I'll do my best. My orders? Shall we? apologies. No time to slow down.
Thanks.
Onward.
I can do this! I wasn't about to let you go.
What's my strategy?
Leave it to me.
Guide me well.
We will help.
Now!
It's over!
Another victory.
A striking display. There's more to be done. I'm sorry. I'll do my best.
Who wish?
That's a big help.
Don't mind that one. I just messed up on the Ignax move, but I'm too lazy to Divine Pulse. But yeah, that's basically how I deal with the Death Knight. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
I've been waiting for you. To kill, to die, to know one without the other would be maddening.
Okay. Just Hubert left to deal with.
We are taking heavy losses. We need more troops.
That helps.
It's almost a shame to kill you. Not even death will make you consequential. first wave of reinforcements is here. We'll not be long until the next.
Okay. This is why I didn't want to finish this map in 3 turns before like the reinforcements come from the back there, because I didn't want to deal with them. So the most RNG part for this map for me was the warp with Lysithea, who does need enough magic to be able to like warp to this side of the map, and it does need, I guess, Lorenz with the enough magic to either low enough for Leone to kill, or Lorenz, yeah, needs Poison Strike, which he does have. So those are the conditions to basically, well, for like me to like warp skip this map.
We can turn them against
Because
the
it definitely is not that
reinforcements.
hard, with Claude and Byleth at the very top, since they're forced to play up there. But it's the bottom side to like finish it up before like the reinforcements from the top side come out. And they will ambush you. So rather than dealing with those guys, it's just easier to like finish the map off before that happens. But yeah, that's one strategy to like deal with this.
I have
Because everyone does die because of ambush spawns. So yeah, if I just like moved, I guess, Ignatz a little bit better, I probably wouldn't have lost him like the first turn, which I didn't lose when I like did this for real. So it did take me like a couple of resets to like find this strategy, but this is like probably like hopefully like one illustration of the strategy that I will be using in my run for Silver Snow. That's hopefully not too RNG dependent, because I think these stats are pretty reasonable for Maddening difficulty at this stage of the game. For like Leone having like 26 strength, 29 speed, Lorenz having like 27 magic, which I think I low rolled a little bit, so he should have higher magic. Unless if this is actually a blessed Lorenz, and that's crazy. But yeah, Poison Strike isn't that hard. Since he does have a boon for dark, well, yeah, for dark magic. So I mean, for reason, so it shouldn't be like that bad for someone to have like Poison Strike on the side. And a Dancer, you should also have like a run. Yeah, one every one run. And Lysithea is basically 43 magic, level 37. That might be a little bit harder to get, and depends on RNG a little bit more. But I think this is definitely doable, especially when you do get like stat boosters from like the garden, as well to like boost magic. So hopefully she's not like that blessed, but I think for Lysithea at this level in Manning, I think this should be acceptable to like expect. Well, for that amount of magic to be able to like warp to beside Hubert, since you can't actually go beside Hubert over here because these two come out. The most ideal play is if Leone could like go through and then like do what's it called, the point blank volley for the instant doubling. But because I can't do that, I do have to rely on Lorenz hitting Poison Strike, and then Leone being able to like hit Hubert. And as for Byleth and Claude for like this map, I also don't think it's like too unreasonable to expect like Claude having like 39 strength, 33 speed. With like his Fell off. Since you could, with the blessing skill, you could also like probably bless like Raphael as well, who can also like contribute to like the chip against the Death Knight over here if you like don't have enough damage. Because I think my Byleth is a little bit low level for this map. 33 strength, 31 speed, 20 defense is I think also reasonable to expect for this late game in Golden Deer. So, yep, that's my strategy to like beat this map with the Golden Deer squad, and just the Golden Deer squad, which I did want to show off, and hopefully a good example of what to expect for, well, maybe not like every map, but at the very least, if the Manning reinforcements are too much, what to expect for a little bit of cheese to safely get through like the other maps in Silver Snow. Because what's his name again, does have warp as well. So there's that. I love ambush spawns. I mean, it is what it is. If you can like take the ones from FE6, which I don't like, Then yeah, I should be able to like live through this one as well in 3 houses. But yeah. Goodbye, Hubert. And that's the map.
We must.
Okay, and with that,
Well
I'm
done,
done.
everyone. Now.
alright, restart again. And yep, bye. What's his face does have warp in Silver Snow. What's his name? I forgot his name. But rescue is Flame, so Flame will always get rescue. So rescue's not a problem. Silver Snow. Yeah, don't mind the hard mode since this was my first run before Maddening came out. I can't believe I forgot his name. Mr. Sleepy Guy. It's not Dorothea. He might get only 1 warp.
Sorry.
Linhart. Okay, yeah, it's Linhart. Yeah, Linhart has warp. Oh yeah. I'm also gonna do male by love since I'm used to male by love, but female by love is probably better. So that's another restriction for me. For my run. Roster, where is he? Linhart. Yep. He has a warp. Unlike like City Visa, Grumby gives her 2. I just gotta like make Linhart. What's that class called again? Yeah, I think the Bishop, and then he should get 2 uses of warp. So maybe the Silver Snow one's not gonna be as hard, but we'll see when we get there. Alright, bye for real this time. Just to answer that question.